Hi everyone, good evening. Please confirm you can hear me by raising your hands. You know how we do it. And confirm you can hear me clearly. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm sure you guys are all doing well. You had a good day and you're having a good time. So today we're going to be having a very brief class. We're going to go straight to the point. And it's actually going to be very interactive if you pay attention, okay, and follow along with the class. So the topic we're going to be discussing about today is what we call case study. So before I start, does anybody here have any idea what case study is? Anyone? If you do, raise your hands, but if I don't see any hands, I would assume we don't. Okay, so we'll just go straight into the class then. So okay, I'm seeing a hand. Stanley, please can you unmute your mic and tell us? Hello, Stanley, can you hear me? Okay, while Stanley is unavailable right now, Udeme, Jonah, please go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening, Udeme.
Yeah, okay. To my understanding, a case study has to do with picking a particular scenario or case or a group of people or a product in this regard to run an evaluation, a comprehensive evaluation on, and then also have to do with it. I think it has to do most importantly, studying about a particular scenario or case or subject existing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Udeme. That was a brilliant one. All right, so today you're going to be learning, this is what you're going to be learning. We have 3 things on the list here. The first one, what case studies are. We're going to talk about what case studies are and why case studies are important. And lastly, how to write a case study. So I'd like you to pay absolute attention and follow along because this is actually a very important topic. So first of all, what are UX case studies? Because Udeme actually defined case study. Okay, that's a term. That was like the normal definition of what case study is. And then we have what we call UX case study. Already we know what UX means, user experience. So we're going to be talking about UX case studies. So actually, UX case studies an in-depth breakdown of a single project that a designer has done. An in-depth breakdown of a single project that a designer has done. And it is commonly used to showcase the intricacies of a designer's problem solving and visual design skills. Okay, we already know what the word in-depth means. We're breaking down this project into different sections, into different processes. Okay, because I want you to know that our clients, right, or hiring managers, it's enough to actually, okay, I was going to say it's not enough, okay, to actually put out good designs, but then people want to see how you went about the process. What are those things you did? What are the challenges you faced? How were you able to overcome those challenges? Okay, what was the outcome of this project? what are the lessons you learned in this project? So that's what case study is all about, an in-depth breakdown of a project that a designer has done. So to actually give clients vital insights, we tell compelling stories, okay, in text, in images, to show how we handle problems. So like I said, people want to know the processes, okay, your thought process, what you did, how you got to the end point, okay, what your goals are and how you're able to reach your goals. So these narratives actually tend to showcase our skills and our way of thinking as designers. So I brought a quote here. I saw a quote that I thought actually explained this more. We have a quote here that says, "Every great design begin with an even better story." Okay, it's not enough to put out good UIs. Okay, that's what what's it called? Our portfolios, right? Putting out a file that contains all your UIs. You did very beautiful designs. They have very beautiful interfaces. But then we want to spice it up with the stories behind this particular UI, the processes we had to go through, okay, the things we had to do, the challenges we had on our way, and how we're able to overcome these particular challenges. That's why this quote says, "Every great design begins with an even better story." For me, I actually think case studies are more effective, okay, than brochures, because everyone loves stories. Everyone loves story. People want to see, people want to read your story. Okay, they want to know the story behind your design, like I said before. So the stories you share, they actually paint a picture and they evoke certain emotions and also give your presentation a sticky power. That's exactly what a case study allows you to do. Tell a story about your brand, tell a story about your products. People connect more with stories. Okay, and there is no better method of storytelling in business than using your voice in your case study. Okay, using your voice to tell people all about your product. And I actually think that's very real. Okay. And now you may be wondering why case studies are so important. Why are we even talking about it? So case studies are particularly important to UI UX and product designers because it tells a story about their product, the problems surrounding the product, and how they tackled it. This is what case studies is all about in plain terms. Okay, so one of the things that, one of the importance of case study is that it is very, very specific. It is straight to the point. Okay, if a case study is well properly done, okay, you find out that it is not vague or general. It actually focuses on a particular project, a particular product, and the story is centered around this particular product or project. Case studies are also important because so much of what employers and clients want to see is not just what we do, but also how and why we do it. They want to know the circumstances, the circumstances surrounding the actions that you took while going through the whole process of your design. So that's why we called it an in-depth breakdown of a product. All right, so clients want people who can communicate through designs and explain themselves properly. So if I'm done with a project, how do I tell people how or what this project means to the users? Okay, how do my users relate to this project? Why am I even creating this product in the first place? And how does it apply to people? That's what clients want to. Clients want people that are communicative, that are able to pass a message to them. Okay. A properly developed case study isn't vague or general, like I said before. It actually points out to the goals of your product, to your thought processes, why you did this and how you did it, because that is what people want to see. That is what thrills people. Okay. It's not enough to just put out your designs out there, like I said before. Okay. People are designing stuff. There are a lot of great designs. But then people want to, I think what thrills people is when they get to see the processes that you had to go through. Okay, to solve this particular problem. They know that this is the problem. How were you able to solve it? What are those things you did? And what was the outcome? It makes it even more beautiful, to be honest. So that is the reason why case studies are very, very important to us as UI UX designers. And we've been talking about case studies. How do we write them? So I don't know if, because I know a lot of you guys have actually, you've done stuff, I don't know, but maybe you've done stuff, because I encourage you guys to practice, to try out stuff on your own. So if you've actually done this, maybe you're already building your portfolio. Okay. So I don't know if you've ever been told that your portfolio lacks depth and it doesn't seem like you have enough experience. You might have like 2 years experience, but then people look at your portfolio and be like, no, I'm not sure this guy has enough experience. Okay, even though you know you do have a lot of experience. All these are actually symptoms of an underlying problem, which is your case studies are not well written. How are you presenting your content out there? Your ability to write a very strong case study is the foundation for creating a strong portfolio and doing well in your interviews. Because if you do not create a strong portfolio, there's every chance that you're going to fumble. Okay, when you're doing your presentations, you're in the interview, you're probably checking because you cannot, your thought processes, most of the times we even forget the processes that we had to go through. We're working on our designs. Okay, but case study helps you to assemble all your thought processes. Okay, put them all together. It is not enough to just show your work. I'm still going to keep saying that it is not enough to just show your work. Your portfolio cannot simply be a combination of sexy looking deliverables. All right. Our clients and our recruiters, or even the hiring managers, they need to articulate your thought process and your design decisions. So I need you guys to know that a key skill for UX professionals is the ability to communicate. If you do not have well-written case studies, then how can you tell your clients, or how can your clients or your hiring managers trust that you'll be able to communicate what you did and why you did it if they hire you? If you're not able to communicate these things on your case study, because first of all, why do we put out case studies? Because we're trying to sell out our product. We're trying to tell people more about our product. We're trying to it's another form of marketing. We're trying to put our product out there and tell a story about it. So if somebody wants to hire you and you did not write out your case study, your case study is not well written, how would this client or hiring managers be able to trust that you can actually communicate to them when you're being given a project to work on? Will you be able to communicate to them what you did and how you did it and why you did it too? Okay, so we actually have to learn how to write a good case study that's actually very communicative. So that's one point you should take note of. Now, when you're approaching your UX case studies, my advice is that you think like a lawyer. Because first of all, okay, sorry, I might have to share my screen again. Okay, sorry about that. So I was saying, if you want to actually, when you're approaching your UX case studies, my advice is that you think like a lawyer. And why am I saying this? Because first of all, how do lawyers win legal cases? We know lawyers, okay, and they do a lot of legal cases. So how do lawyers actually win legal cases? They do that with very strong communication and even stronger evidence. When they put out their evidence out there and also their voice to back up the evidence, that's what makes them win legal cases. So the project inside your portfolio, right, are like evidence in a legal case. So that's why you must choose the project for your portfolio very, very carefully. You cannot just put out any project out there as your case study, which actually is a topic for another day. We're going to talk about that in another class, like how to pick the right project for your case studies. Okay, so with that being said, I'm just going to go to the next slide. So I wrote down a few stuff here. What I recommend you include in your UX case studies. Number one, we have the overview. Everything about your project, about your product, what you're working on. We have the problem statement. This is where you get to write down the problem and why you're trying to solve this problem. Okay, your users and your audience. Who are your target users? Are they students? Are they working class citizens? Who are your users and also your target audience? This is where you get to list them out. Your roles and your responsibilities. This is where you get to tell us about the part that you played, okay, in the whole design process. This is what I did as a UI UX designer. I created, what do I use as an example now? Okay, I interviewed 5 participants. I carried out this research. I did this and I did that. Okay, this is where you get to point out your responsibilities and the roles you play. And also the process and what you did. Okay, so what were the processes you took? First of all, you can say, I did the whole, what's the process again? What are the design processes? We have the part where you get to empathize with your users, get to, put yourselves in the shoes of the user, see through their eyes. That way you're able to provide, okay, or actually solve their problem. We have the empathy stage, the ideate stage where you get to, okay, it's actually the define. Yes, define is the next one where you get to define the problem that you're tackling. And then ideate stage where you now get to generate ideas, where the whole brainstorming comes in. So these are the processes. What did you do in these processes? So this is where you get to tell, the audience what you did. What are those steps that you took? The challenges you faced on the way and how you're able to tackle these challenges. People want to see all of this. This is what thrills people. Okay, if somebody is hiring you, this is what thrills them. This will make somebody say, oh, this guy is actually doing a great job. Oh, for instance, okay, let me say Design Tree has a case study. She puts it out there. Why would somebody want to hire her? Because already they're seeing that she's able to communicate the processes, okay, what she did. So if we now hire her, she'll be able to, tell us how she went through these processes, those challenges, the problems, why she's actually tackling this problem, how she was able to solve it, why she did what she did, and all of that. And also, lastly, the outcomes and the lesson. What was the outcome of all these processes? At the end of the day, what's the outcome of this product? We want to see what the final product looks like, and then the lessons that she learned or you learned. Okay, so I recommend that you include this to your case studies because these are actually very vital points. Okay, so this is an example of what I had on the previous slide. So we have the introduction, what happened, and then the conclusion. This is all broken down here. So for the introduction, we have the overview. Like I said, quick summary of the company or the product you're working on. An example is just like the task that's been given to you guys, where we told you guys about what the company needed. That's an overview. A quick summary of the company, what the company needs, the product. It also provides crucial content. It tells you everything about the product or what it is about. Okay, and then we have the problem statement. Sorry about that. We have the problem statement. Why did this project need to happen? Why are we working on this project in the first place? Why was the goal? Sorry, what was the goal or desired outcome? This is where you get to put down your problem statement. Why are we working on this project? What problem are we trying to solve? Okay. And then we have the users and the audience. Who was your user? Help the reader understand who would use the product. Because most people could just be going through your case study. If your case study is not well written, people will not know who you're actually, creating or designing this product for. You're just putting it out there. Okay, I am saying a food ordering application, for instance. What is this product meant to do, or who are the users? Okay, who is going to use this product? I'm seeing a book donation application. Who has this? Who is going to make use of this product? Okay, and all of that. We also have the roles and the responsibilities. What did you do? Who else worked on this? Were you guys like a team? How big was the team? What impact, okay, did you do? What's the level of stuff you did? Some people can work in a team and maybe you're the lead product designer. You're going to do most of the work, right? So this is where you get to put out or write down your roles, the responsibilities, the part you played in the whole process. We also have the scope and constraints. We have any unique or limiting factors. Maybe it was your budget, your timeline, time zone. Let's say, for instance, I like to be very practical. Your client has a different time zone. Okay, let's say your client is someone living outside the country. So what were those challenges? How are you guys able to communicate? Seeing the difference in the time zone and all of that. What was the budget of the whole product? This is where you get to put down all of that. And then we have the process and what you did, a step-by-step rundown of what you did and why you did it. If you created an interview script, why did you do this? People want to know why you actually do what you do in your whole design process. Okay, and then we have the last thing, which is the outcome and the results. What happened in the end? Did you achieve your goal? What lessons did you learn in the whole process? I mean, when a client sees this, they're thrilled. You know that this person knows what he or she is doing. And I mean, it will be very easy for us to communicate with this person. Because at the end of the day, when we give this person a project to work on, or just like we gave you guys a task, and maybe we said you guys should work on a case study, you're able to tell us why this button is placed here. Why did you use this particular color? And if you had a goal before you started out your whole design process, at the end of the design process, were you able to achieve these goals? Did you learn any lesson? What were your challenges and how were you able to overcome these challenges? And people see this and know that you have this very broad knowledge of what you're doing, and you can actually take on any task or any project that is being given to you. Okay, so I'm just going to point out a few things before we end the class. So I'm sure you're probably wondering, why do you need UX case studies as a UI UX designer? I mean, I remember when we were screaming about creating style guides. Most of you guys thought it was not important. Each of these things are very, very important, just as case studies important to you as a UI UX designer. So this is why they actually provide an insight into your design process. This is just like a rundown of what I said before. The methods you use, your thought processes, and your presentation skills. Case studies are like the most essential parts of the hiring processes. So if you do this very well, if you carry on your case study very well, if you write it very well, your case studies can actually flaunt your problem-solving skills. And that's like one of the things that clients are looking out for. They need somebody who can actually solve problems. And that's what a well-written case study does. It flaunts your problem-solving skills, your seamless design process, and the impact of your work. What it also does is prove that you've got great communication skills, which in fact is the most important role of a UI UX designer, to be able to communicate to the client. Okay, so I already pointed this out. If your client is giving you a project to work on, they want to be able to count on you to walk them through the whole process at the end of the day. So think of it this way. Somebody asked a question, and I'm going to use this to answer that question in the chat box. So think of it this way. Your resume, it actually lists out your skills, while your case study presents those skills in action. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, your resume lists out your skills. You're telling us you're good at this. You're a UI UX designer with 5 years of experience. You've worked with these people. It's the case studies that is going to tell us, okay, that what you're saying is actually true. If you have 5 years of experience, your case study is going to tell us the truth about that. Okay, if you actually worked with this company and you're able to do this, you're able to solve this problem, your case study also tells us that. Okay, it tells us the truth about you and how you're able to communicate, your problem-solving skills. It brings that all out for your clients to actually see. But one of the numerous things that I love about case studies is that it makes it very easy to talk about your work. It makes it easier to talk about your work during interviews and also presentations. Why? Because while working on your case study, you're forced to organize your thoughts and memories of the project. Everything is being put in place. Okay, so you're not thinking about what to say next. You know everything step by step. Okay, so when people are working on projects, recently I gave my students a project to work on, and I encourage them to do a case study. So that way, they're going to tell me the whole process they took from the user research. This is the number of people I reached out to. Okay, I did interview with this number of persons, and then I was able to get this result. These are the pain points. At the end of the day, you have this analytics. Okay, so you know that this number of people actually are your target users, and these ones aren't. These are the pain points they're facing. These are the challenges. And then you have the whole the problem statement. Okay, this is a problem. This is why I want to solve this problem, and this is how I want to solve this problem. And you get to list out all the steps that you took. At this point, I got this challenge because this and this happened. This is the constraint I had here, and this is how I was able to pull through. And then at the end, we have the outcome, the result of everything that you've been talking about since. So that's what case study does. It actually tells a story about our product. So for instance, we're giving you an e-commerce, probably a website to work on. It tells a story about it. the whole process that you took, what you did, why you did it, and all of that. So that is what case study is all about. So like I said, today's class is actually going to be a very short one. As you can see on my slide, we have coming up next key steps on how to write your case study. So in the next class, we're going to be walking you through the steps, okay, of how to write your case study, the important steps that you have to take to write a good case study. So stay tuned. But for now, we're going to be taking questions. So if you have any questions, you can put it out on the chat box or raise your hand. Okay, Shakiro, your hand is raised. Do you have a question? Please unmute your mic.
Okay, good evening. Hello, good evening. Sorry, can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, it is actually not a question, just like a complaint or so. So actually, I just got promoted to stage 6 like 2 days ago, and I'm not able to submit my task because the link is not going through. So we have commented on Slack, but nobody is replying to the comments. So I don't know, like, is there anything you want to do about it? That's just it.
Okay. That will actually be looked into. But for the meantime, does anyone have any question about case studies, what we just talked about? Oh, Ridwan asked if I can send a link to a well-written case study so we can see. That'll be done in the next class. So I want you guys to look forward to the next class where we're going to talk about the steps on how to write a good case study. So does anyone have any question before we end the class?
All right, let me take over. Okay, so hello, trust you can hear me, guys. Okay, so let me just answer a few questions that I'm actually seeing on the chat. Okay, so I'll start with read one. Okay, you said just to confirm, are we to write our user stories and user interviews on Google Sheets or Google Docs? Okay, so that should be done on a Google document. Okay, yeah, so take note of that. And favor slides to the class will be dropped on the channel. What other question is on the chat? Concerning the assignment given, can we use a phone frame for the web shop? I think that was actually stated on the task sheet. So please check the task sheet. Okay, it was stated on the task sheet. So please check there. Okay, I think that's that. Are we to do a website or a mobile app? That was answered. That was actually made clear on the task sheet. So please, guys, check the task sheet for that. Okay, so someone says our user stories a form of case studies. Okay, so Ayakumi, please, can you unmute your mic? I think this is one. I like questions like this. Ayakumi, are you there? Okay, so before then, Design Shin, I think yes, I've seen your hand is raised. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay,
Yes, good
so I
evening.
just wanted to throw more light, like a little light on this question. I think there was a question I saw based on, sorry, I'm trying to scroll up. I think based on, okay, if a case study is the same as a resume or portfolio, which Favor has answered already. So I just wanted to add, like, a portfolio is actually like a house where you have all your case studies inside, right? So you probably must have written your case studies and designed your case studies on Figma, for example, sharing your thought processes, telling us everything that happened during the course of coming up with the project and designing the project, right? The challenges you came through. So when you're done doing all of those, so where everything, like where all your case studies now living, for lack of a better word, that's what you call your portfolio. So people have portfolios on Behance, for example. People have portfolios on Wix, on Squarespace, right? You can decide to build your own portfolio on Webflow, for example, right? So when you're done writing your case studies and designing your case studies, then where all of these case studies would now live in, like the house, is now what is called your portfolio. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I just wanted to call that out. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Tanchi, for that wonderful addition. Okay, so I think this is that. Let me see if I can answer a few questions on the chat. Okay, so questions I'm seeing is still regarding the task. You guys were asked to design. It's a website, so I still don't know why you're asking about a phone screen. I don't know why you're asking about a phone screen. It's a website, okay? But just for to make it clear to you, okay, use a desktop screen, okay, or a desktop frame as you would call it, not a phone screen, please. Take note of that. I really don't know why you're asking that question. Okay, but I hope that actually clarifies that. And Ayokumi as asking if user stories are a form of case study. Okay, so I think I'll just tell user stories are user stories, case studies, case studies. I think that's actually how I'd actually answer that question. User stories are user stories. Okay. A single focus thing a user can do. So it's about the user. Case study is a different thing. So user stories are user stories. Case studies are case studies. So just take note of that. So please, will there be practicals on case studies in the next class? Just like your trainer said, we will actually shown steps on how to create a case study. And then, of course, we'll show you some samples of the very good case studies that people have done in time past. Okay. Okay, so Carmel, please, we'll only take questions regarding the class or probably the task. Okay, so if your question is not about those two things, I would suggest you drop your hand. So it's either about the class or the task. So if it's not about those two things, I'll suggest you drop your hand. So go ahead. Okay.
Okay, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you. I'm sorry. My question actually has to do with current tax. Because when I was going through the brief, I realized it didn't include who the target users are. So I'd like to know who exactly are we designing the web shop for? Like, who are the ideal customers?
Go through your project brief and then figure that out. That's why you're the designer. So I don't think I'm actually going to give you.
Yeah, I've actually gone through it over and over.
Yeah. Is it close to you?
No.
Okay, if it was, I'd have told you to read it out. But go to your project brief. I don't think I want to actually give you guys that answer. But I think that's why you're meant to do your research. So do your research. You actually figure that out. You're the UI, you're the problem solver. So solve the problem.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
I'm just a client. I'm just a client who doesn't know about these things. But all I know is that I need a web shop. Okay,
but
so
it's
asking the
actually
client, asking me now that don't know about, take me up, just assume that IKEYS is the client. Now I gave you guys a project. The champ that dropped the assignment. I gave you a project that I don't know. So I'm telling you now, I don't know my target audience. I just know that I want a web shop. So yeah, you're the problem solver. So please help me figure that out. Please. Thank you very much. I'll pay you very well.
I think we actually want to solve a problem that is not supposed to be the problem.
Well, like I said, that's
Because,
why you're the problem solver.
according
So
to
you
the
have to
brief,
figure out the problem. Okay.
yeah, because according to the brief, the what's it called? Should I say the store is it has an existing physical store already. So I mean they have a particular target customers that they are attending to. It's not a new
What's the store about?
What?
What's the store about?
A fashion store.
What do they sell? Fashion.
What?
So who's the target audience for fashion now? You said it's a fashion store, right?
Yes.
Okay. If it's a fashion store, so who is the target audience? Definitely not my great grandmother.
It could be anybody.
Definitely not. No.
Anybody could wear designer.
So if
Actually,
it's
it's not
anybody,
limited.
that's why you're the that's why you're the problem solver. Me, I don't know. All I know is that I'm tired of my local shop. I'm tired of this physical one. The only customers I get are just people that stays across my street. I want people from somewhere else to actually buy from me. That's why I want my stuff to be online. Please help me. I'll pay you very handsome. Please. I don't know them more. I don't. Please help me. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, okay, design sheet, you had this race. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to say one small thing. So based on this conversation between IKEYS and sorry, I didn't really get your name. Okay, so I just want to say that sometimes, right, most times you could be given a design brief and it may not encompass all the details you were envisaging at the very beginning. So it becomes your own responsibility to probably craft out who are going to be our target users, right? So from this design brief, for example, you're being told that here at this particular brand, we stand for luxury, efficiency, and all of the XYZ. So using luxury, for example, you would just know that the people they are targeting are not people who are poor, right? They are actually people who love luxury, people who are rich and have money, so to say. And definitely it will not be people who are old or, like our grandparents for example, right? It will definitely be people who are young and love fashion. Like just from the word fashion, it's young people have money and they want to spend money and all of that kind of stuff, right? So okay, so I feel like from when you're being given a problem statement or design brief, for example, you can be able to personally come up with ideas, probably who your target audience are going to be, because sometimes your clients may not even know, but they just want this product to sell. Yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Zenchi. Thank you. Okay, Jimmy, go ahead. Please, either about the current task or the topic that was taught. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good evening again.
Good
okay,
evening.
Mine is about the class, please.
Okay.
So
Right.
So from what Favor stated out about a case study, going through, I think I'm not seeing the difference between a written project and then and carrying out a project for a product. Yeah. So I want to know, are we supposed to put all this down in form of a document, like going through some level of documentation and then send it to the client who has the product, um, or we are just learning this so that it will help us in our task. I want to know, because going through this, I will have to write an overview, which even for our task, it has been written out already. Then I will also write out the statement of the problem, the users, and the audience and all of that. Then like if a, a client gave me this job, I might to write all this down for the user to, for the clients to read through, that this is what I went through to get his or her product ready and running. Please, that's what I want to know.
Okay. Okay, that's actually a very interesting question. Okay, so first things first, case study is not for your client. Okay, case study is not for the client. Now, I like the fact that you use the word documentation. Well, it's just that it's more when I hear the word documentation, well, it's a generic word actually, but so case study is not for your clients. Okay, just like Design Chi actually said that your portfolio is more like a house for your case studies. Now, case study is with respect to a project. It's just basically, I was given this is a food ordering app food ordering app, okay, as a product. Let's call it Food Me. This is Food Me, the product that I designed. Now, these are the steps. These are the things I actually did, okay? Why I did these things, how I did these things to achieve this product that you are seeing. Okay. Now, it is not for the client. It's actually for for employers, actually, for people who would actually hire you. Okay. Now, because this is how I actually see the importance of case study. Case study basically tells me why I should hire you. Okay. It's not, yes, of course, you show me your portfolio, you show me your designs. Anybody can replicate design. It's possible that what you did there, you actually just saw it on Dribble, change the color and the likes. It's very, very possible. Now, I've seen some case studies that certain persons. I saw a case study where someone actually, the app was actually Twitter, but the person designed Twitter, and then his case study explained the reasons why he used a different color, why he used this, why this button is basically here, how he was able to do his research. So it's not for the client, it's for you, your product, and for the person who would actually hire you, because you want people to know that you are not just someone who can go on Figma and start putting up colors and following design processes. You're someone who actually makes decisions for reasons. Like, for you to use this color, you know why you are making use of this color. For you to add this button here, look, this is the reason why. For me to actually have this feature on this product, this is why I am having this feature. So it's not like, of course, yeah, it can be a documentation if you want to call it that, but it's not for the client. Okay, it's for you. Okay, and for those who would want to hire you, you're hiring whatever recruitment personnel or something who wants to probably recruit you. So it's more like an in-depth detail of how you were able to build or design this product. So that's why Design Chi said portfolio or resume is a house for your case studies. So it means that if I go to your portfolio, I should not just see let's say you designed an e-commerce website. I shouldn't just see maybe, of course, you can just do a mock-up. You guys call it mock-up, put it on Behance, and then it's not enough for me to just, of course, you want to take me to your Figma board. Why should I go to your Figma board? Okay, you could have 5 projects on your portfolio, and from that 5, each of them is either taking me to Figma board or taking me to Behance or that. Well, that's fine. But one of the things that top companies would respect you for or value you more for is if they can actually see, yes, they have seen your design, but they want to know how were you able to achieve these things? How were you able to get to this point? Because those are the things top companies actually value. Okay, not just you being, of course, see, right now, I know I can actually go to, if you give me a Figma design, I can actually replicate it. I'm not UI designer, but I can actually replicate it. But the question is, if you give me a product, just like I've given you guys a product brief now, can I actually have a very good thought process from the start to the end? Can I come up with that product that a client will be proud of? Okay, so just take note of that. Then I really hope that actually answers your question. Does it? I think you want to say something.
Yes, you've actually answered my question, but I'm not yet satisfied, please. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, you're not satisfied. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I like it. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, since this is to help me and the top companies to actually see what I did. Now, will I say it is advisable to draw my inspirations from existing designs that is related to maybe what a client asks me to? Then from the inspiration drawn from maybe a website or an existing product, then I also indicate in my case study that during my research, I also had some inspirations from social sites, maybe Dribble, that I had an inspiration from here, then which also helped me to have a good design at the end of the day. Is it advisable to do that, please?
Okay, before Design She comes up to answer this, because I really want her to say something about this. I'm actually going to paint this picture now. Okay, do you think it's advisable for you to apply? Or, okay, better still, let's say you're an employer of labor, okay, and then you're about to employ someone, and then from your conversation with the person, it's more like the person's success or ability to do something was dependent, 80% was dependent on external factors. Okay, okay, you guys don't really, I don't know, for developers, there's what we call there's a site called Stack Overflow. Okay, Stack Overflow is very able to, if you have issues, you can just get on there, see who has had that issue before, and fix it up. Now, we say these things a lot, that Google is your friend, you need to be able to search. But the question is, when, assuming you're an employer of labor, will you just quickly employ someone who tells you that, look, most of the things I did, I just Googled it, just went to Google and I was able to draw inspiration and, fix this, my friend just gave me an idea and then I picked it. Will you actually employ someone like that? Don't worry, don't answer. It's just something I want you to think about, because when you ask, that's why you said if it's advisable, because you're based on what you're saying. I'm not downplaying there's mood boards, okay? You draw inspiration. Question is, would you want to put would you want your case studies, would you want your work to be dependent on external factors, and then of course you're going to tell your employer that, look, most of the things I did, because it's dependent on external factors, but this idea you're seeing right now, I even got it from one place like that on Behance. So that means if Behance was not there, what would you have done? So just think of it that way, okay, and then probably advise yourself, okay. But actually, let me bring you in. Okay, what's your take on that? These are people who actually write case studies, not me. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Ikes. Okay, so to answer your question, Ikes has really said a whole lot, which I think he has almost said almost everything. But I could just add a few things. So I get your idea. Like, there's a part of when you're writing your case study, you need to tell us the how. Like, how did you come up with your ideas? Okay, there's a how, there is a why. This is why I decided to do this. So based on what you said, like probably you decided to get ideas or inspirations from similar apps. Like, there's what we call competitive analysis, right? So where you probably decided to check out already existing apps and what could be wrong, what may not be wrong. Okay, you can, you decided to probably get ideas and maybe redesign the idea or make the idea better, right? So that's like you trying to say the like you're sharing the how. But based on what Ike's also said, you're not, when you're writing your case study, you're not coming to downplay yourself and let your either recruiting manager or your clients to feel like the whole idea wasn't just yours. You just went and copied it, right? So that's not going to be your very strong point. Where your strong point is going to come in is probably when you want to now start telling us the why, right? So I had gone through all this analysis. I had checked out app ABC, or I had checked out this app that is already in existence, right? And then this is what I came out. This is okay. These are like the ideas I was able to draw out from it, right? But when you're writing your case studies, you want to make sure that whatever you're saying or whatever you're telling your client or your prospective your hiring managers, you're trying to sell the fact that you're able to make design decisions based on data. There's something about when you're just designing based on what you think, and when you're designing based on data or based on information, like when you're making informed design decisions. So that's why we talked about usability testing. So I remember one time I wrote a case study, and then I think it was one of these applications, I think that was for YouTube Music. And then I wrote the case study about it. And then, so when I was being interviewed by a particular company that reached out to me, they were asking me questions like, so why did you feel like changing XYZ? And then I informed them that, okay, I had conducted usability testing, and maybe out of 15 clients or maybe 15 participants, maybe 70% were saying this is what we feel or this is what we think should be worked on, right? So I was able to let I think the hiring managers to understand that this is the reason why I did this. I didn't just do this because I checked out ABC app and I just got the idea. No, I checked out the apps, quite all right. I got the feedback. I also tested my designs and I got feedback. So you're selling yourself out there. You're telling them this is what happened. This is why I did this. It's not just I got the ideas from maybe mood boards or similar apps. I don't know if this answer helps. Yeah. So I think I should just I feel I don't know if this has answered your question, Udeme. I think it should.
Yes, I'm fine now. I'm quite okay now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Design Chi. You guys have said a whole lot. I shouldn't even say anything because you guys have actually answered his question. Okay, I'm glad your question has been answered, Udeme. Ethan, do you have any question? Please unmute your mic.
Good evening. My question is as regards to the task. We were limited to just 5 research questions. And according to the class we had on research questions a long time ago, we practically divided them into getting to know about the user before moving into how to make improvements on the user experience so that we can develop our own website or application. But all that can't encompass into 5 questions. So I don't know. Should we forget all the things about learning about the user, or I don't know.
Okay,
Hello?
Ethan, yes, I got your question. You can actually do more, but we're asking for just 5 research questions. What you saw that, what you're talking about is actually the interview script, where you get to, have the topic and then the subtopics, like the questions that fall under that particular topic, getting to know your user and then what this means to them. generating questions under all of that. That was the interview script. We're just asking for 5 research questions. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, you can do more, but just send 5 to us. You can keep the remaining 40 or 50 to yourself.
Okay, there's no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so just 5 questions and the answers. Thank you very much. Does any other person have any other question before we call the meeting or the class off? Any more questions? Okay, so before we end the class, does any other mentor have anything to add? Kenny or Shoba, please unmute your mic. What do you have for us?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I got a comment on my Figma board. I just wanted to, because it looks like a very general statement, so I'm not sure what to do. It says this is not a good prototype. So I don't know exactly what to do there. You know, although it seems to just on one of the screens. So I'm not sure. I know exactly what to do, and I don't want to disturb the DM. So I don't really know what to do.
Okay, Kenny, I'm going to look into that, but I need you to make sure that your prototype is end to end. By that, I mean that it's actually leading to the right destination. If I'm clicking on a sign up button, it should, I don't even understand. If I have like an icon that is saying it's taking me to home, if I'm clicking on that particular home icon, it should actually take me to home. So if you're linking these stuffs, okay, you should make sure that it's leading you to the right screens. So I just want you to make sure that you have an end-to-end prototype. But I'm going to look into that.
All right then. Thank you.
What's your full name, please?
Kehinde Oyeronke Oshoba.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Design Chi, I saw your hand. Okay, before that, Udofia Nelly.
Okay, my question is concerning the prototyping aspect of Figma. I noticed like when I do some particular prototype, maybe like dissolve, like when I play it, like I don't know if I'm the one experiencing it, if I'm the only one experiencing it, because the whole thing scatters, like the prototype and everything scatters. Like there are some particular features of the prototype settings that you choose. Maybe like we choose dissolve. If you go and prototype it, the thing will be, it will just scatter the whole screen, something like that. I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing it or if others are too. So I just needed to know.
Okay, Udofia Nelly. That sounds very strange. Design Chi said dissolve scatters. Well, I needed to be sure of what you actually clicked on, because dissolve is a kind of animation, transition from one screen to another. So kind of, you know what that means. So you're supposed to transition from, if you had let's say a login screen, transition to another screen entirely. So but it has this dissolving feature. Your element or your whatever your design is not supposed to scatter. So I need to be very sure of what you clicked on. Maybe you're not doing something right. So I needed to go over the process again and try that out. Okay.
Oh, the thing is that it's not only dissolve, it's happening for even sliding animations and the rest. So the thing usually limits me to using them. Like I tend to make use of only one, which
Only
is
instant.
only instant. So that this thing is actually annoying. So I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing it or if others are as well.
Okay, so I'm just going to say that you have, okay, you have to, like I said, you have to go over the process again, because I definitely know you're missing out something. That's how prototype is. If you're not careful, you end up destroying everything, just like Design she said when she was teaching prototyping. If you go wrong with one prototype, it has every chance of destroying all the other prototypes. So there is something you're not doing right. I need you to go over the process from the beginning again, slowly, making sure that you're not missing out anything. Okay, but if you still have any issues, reach out to us on Slack. Thank you very much. Odunayo, okay, please unmute your mic. Hello, Odunayo.
Good evening. Okay, my own question is about the research, the current task, about the research question and answer. I thought we were to interview, like to research 5 users to know what they really think about what we are working on. So from that, we can generate our user story. Or are we just to create the research question, give the answer ourselves, then form our user story? I don't really understand that aspect.
Okay. Okay, so you're given a project brief, okay? You need to carry out your research. You need to follow every process that you have been taught since you started KodeCamp 2.0. Now, what we only asked is, look, just tell us the 5 research, just out of your research questions. Okay, if you went ahead to interview 50 persons, no problem. Just tell us 5 questions you asked them, okay, out of your numerous questions, and the answers that they gave. That is just what we're asking for. It doesn't stop you from following. You should follow the process, okay? That's how you even get to know who you're actually designing for. Okay, so follow the process, do your research, ask questions, get your answers, get your personas, do the whole of that. The only thing we asked for, and that's why it was very clear on the deliverables. Okay, because I don't want to coerce you guys into saying, okay, make sure you interview 10 persons, make sure you interview 20 persons, and I want to see the questions you asked 20 persons or 5 persons and the responses the 5 persons gave. Of course, we have a time frame, so do your research, do everything as it should. But out of the number of persons, we just want to know, give us 5 questions out of the many that you asked, and what was the response that these persons gave. Okay, so that is basically what we are requiring from you. That's a deliverable from our own end. Okay, it doesn't stop you from following the process as you should. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, Favor, over to you.
All right, Akish, thank you very much for that. Does any other person have questions before we end the class? Okay, so I remember Design Chi's hand was raised one time, not so long. Design Chi, do you have anything to say or to add before we end the class?
Okay, so sorry, I just wanted to say that, to reiterate that Google is your best friend, right? So based on all the questions concerning writing case studies, use the appropriate keywords and ask Google questions. There are so many case studies out there, and you will get to know that it's not just about probably writing documentation on Google Docs. So I feel like you all can just read up, right? Just make your little research on writing case studies, and then probably we could have more conversations about it. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Design Chi. She actually made a very good, a very good point, because when you have more knowledge about, okay, what is being spoken of, like a particular topic, it makes you to be able to flow with the class, and it makes the class more interactive. So I advise you to go and do your research, get to learn more about case studies, that we've talked about today. So any other questions, please do well to ask them on Slack. I'm going to hand over to Ikes now as we end the class.
Okay, thank you very much, Hero, for the handover. Okay. So yeah, if you have questions, please let's just take them to Slack so we can round up. Okay, so I trust you guys have actually learned something very tangible. Okay, so let's make sure we're good. Please follow up with your task, finish that up. Okay, of course, this is the final task that should take you to the final stage, which is the project phase. And of course, I know you have checked announcements that I've given you the conditions for promotion. I've given you the conditions for being in the project phase. So please do well to follow through, okay, so that we do not have some back and forth. Okay, thank you guys very much and have a wonderful day. Yeah, so the submission link, I know it's not on the Google Doc. I'm going to add that. Okay, so thank you very much. So Ethan, the fact that you're asking about it, I hope you're done. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay. I don't worry, I'm gonna open the submission link for stage 6. Okay, have a wonderful